We've started to vaccinate in a phase 1 trial, children 5 to 11 years of age, and we plan to move down progressively to children as young as 6 months of age.
Pfizer says they will test kids in 3 age groups in the U.S. and Europe. Are these children getting the same vaccine that's currently being administered to adults?
Yeah, so it's the same vaccine, but we take a very deliberate and careful approach to assure ourselves of the safety and how well the vaccine can be tolerated in young children. So as we move down into the 5 to 11-year-olds, we'll start with a somewhat lower dose, and then we will move forward to a mid-sized dose and then to an adult dose.
What's the earliest we could see vaccines being authorized for use in children?
Our goal is to get this information submitted to the FDA as soon as possible. If all goes as planned, that vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds could be ready as soon as the start of the next school year.
Can we reach herd immunity if we don't get kids vaccinated?
I think adding the school-age population based on recommendations from the FDA and the CDC could go a long way in helping us reach herd protection.
And what are kids asking?
Will there be side effects just like there is for adults?
We know that only a small proportion of adults have fever or chills, and we're working very deliberately to try to make sure that as we move down into children, that they don't have reactions that are greater than those that are seen in adults.
Right now, you have real-world data, if you will, on the vaccine in terms of the adult population. Does any of that give you greater confidence that this will be equally as effective with children?
I think we need to see what the immune response in children is, specifically how much antibody they make that can kill the virus. Is it comparable to what we see in adults? If it is, then I think we have reason to have great confidence that the vaccine will likely protect children as well as it does adults.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.